Luis Alfredo Garavito, also referred to as the Beast, is a Colombian serial killer. Luis Garavito was born on January 25, 1957, in Colombia. He is currently 64 years of age. Garavito has been convicted of murdering 172 boys in the 1990s. Many of Garavito's victims lived in poor neighborhoods apart from their families, who could not afford to support them, leading observers to speculate that their disappearances were disregarded or overlooked. Luis Garavito early life. Garavito is the eldest of 7 siblings and was raised in western Colombia. His childhood was charged with abusive behavior, mainly from an alcoholic father, who was brutally violent towards Garavito, his siblings, and his mother. Although details about his mother are unknown, it is believed she was a prostitute and that Garavito was forced to watch his mother engage in sexual activities with her clients. During a police interrogation, Garavito alleged that several men in his community sexually abused him. One of them was a friend of his father and a local drugstore owner. At the age of 16, unable to handle the abuse and torture, Garavito decided to flee from his home. During this time he supported himself by selling religious prayer cards in the streets. In the midst of this, he also had a girlfriend named Teresa, a single mother. With her, Garavito shared a stable relationship with Teresa and her child. According to Teresa and several of his friends, Garavito was portrayed as a friendly average person, except that he was short-tempered. As he moved into adulthood, he often relocated in search of work. But, unfortunately, he had also taken after his father's drinking habits by this time, thus leading him to be very combative and destructive. Luis Garavito's life of crime. Garavito's killing spree began in the early 1990s. However, for many years his murders went unnoticed, as he killed his victims in separate areas. And many of these victims, mainly young boys, were aged between 8 and 16. Moreover, several of them were homeless and had no police report filed on their disappearance. Then, in 1997, the discovery of a mass grave containing the remains of 36 boys near the city of Pereira provoked an investigation into their disappearances. Luis Garavito technique. Garavito's targeted underprivileged street kids, primarily young boys between the ages of 8 and 16. He gained their trust by luring them gifts, food, and money. He would also occasionally dress as a priest to make the children feel secure as he drew them away from their homes and parents. Once he had them in a secluded spot, he would violate and murder them. He would kill the boys by cutting his victims' throats or stabbing them with screwdrivers or knives and then dismembering their small bodies. Police were able to determine this after examining several corpses which presented signs of prolonged torture. Garavito traveled extensively during his killing spree, committing murders throughout Colombia. He also was suspected of murders in Ecuador. Luis Garavito's arrest and confession and current whereabouts. While searching the area around the bodies, police found a note with an address handwritten on it. Upon further investigation, the address turned out to be Garavito's girlfriend. When investigators arrived at his house, he wasn't home. However, his girlfriend was, and she gave the investigators access to Garavito's belongings. In these belongings, authorities seized detailed journals of his murders, tally marks of his victims, and information that led investigators to Garavito's current residence. Unfortunately, he was not home. On April 22, 1999, Luis Garavito was picked by the police a few days later on an unrelated charge of attempted rape against a boy. Luckily for the boy, a struggle between Garavito and the boy was observed by a homeless man nearby, who intervened and rescued the boy, resulting in capturing Colombia's worst serial killer. Once in custody, Luis Garavito broke down and confessed to killing 140 children and claimed to have been possessed by an evil spirit while committing the crimes. Using his confession and DNA left at the crime scenes, Garavito was charged with killing 172 altogether throughout Colombia. He was found guilty on 138 of the 172 accounts and was sentenced to 5 years and 9 days in prison, the lengthiest sentence in Colombian history. However, Colombian law has a limit of only 40 years of the sentence and does not have life imprisonment or death penalty options. Still, Garavito is unlikely to complete his entire sentence. Because, during his imprisonment, Garavito helped the police recover his victims' bodies. This action, along with good behavior and confession, permits him to reduce his sentence, thereby making the effective sentence 22 years, which will make him eligible for parole in 2021. Many Colombians criticize the possibility of Garavito's early release. Sadly, in the 90s Colombian law had no provision or method to impose a sentence longer than what Garavito received, which is perceived as a deficiency in the law caused by the failure to address the possibility of a serial killer in Colombian society. The law has since increased the maximum penalty for such crimes to 60 years in prison. Garavito is currently serving his sentence in a maximum security prison in Colombia. And for his protection, he has been segregated from the general prison population. According to official reports, he is studying to be a politician, and upon his release, he hopes to start his career in activism and helping abused children. Since his arrest, Luis Garavito has confessed to additional murders. His victim count is set to exceed 300 based on the locations of skeletons listed on maps that Garavito drew in prison. As of now, only 113 remains have been recovered. What are your thoughts on Luis Garavito's pending release? Should he be set free? Please share your thoughts on the comment section below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.